I actually do, to be honest with you. I have way too many nicknames, but Juice Man is just from probably the first one that ever came about.
Yeah, I definitely call you Juice Man to this day. That is how I know you pretty much. So yeah. Um, Real quick, can you tell me a little bit about your DC consumption? Any comic books, video games, movies, TV shows? What DC do you take in?
So pretty much all movies. I love movies in general, so I love DC movies. Um, Movies, shows, the cartoon shows. No comics. Comics kind of confuse me a little bit. Yeah, so I really
Okay.
don't dive too much into them. I do research, but I don't read the comics. I do, and also video games, of
Okay.
course.
That makes sense. Yes, and the comics can be confusing because there are all kinds of different things happening. There are resets that like it's all it gets convoluted very easily. There are some stories that are like standalones that don't connect to the larger universe, and then there are other stories that are like woven in later. It's wild. So that confusion absolutely makes sense. Um, okay, okay. Well, I appreciate you for joining us on this journey through DC animation. Today's film is Son of Batman, released May 6th, 2014, and the comic on which this movie was based is Batman and Son. I'm going to read a synopsis in my own words, and then we're just gonna talk about it. So we open with the League of Assassins training. Mr. Raz Al Ghul, Talia, and Damien look from on high while Raish tells Damien that this is his legacy. Then the League of Assassins is attacked, and it's by assassins, but with guns. Talia gets in there and starts going to work, and Raish comes face to face with Slade, the man behind the attack. Just as Slade is about to kill Raish, Damien shows up and gives Slade a really good reason to wear an eye patch. Raish attempts to make it to the Lazarus pit, but he doesn't quite make it, and unfortunately, he loses his life, his very long life. Talia takes Damien to Gotham to meet his father, Batman. Batman is fighting with Killer Croc, then Talia subdues Killer Croc pretty easily so that she can take Batman on a little boat date. Talia tells Batman about the Slade situation and that Slade was supposed to be the successor to the League of Assassins, but Raish became aware of Batman and Slade was no longer the first choice, which is why he was trying to kill them. She introduces Batman to Damien and leaves Damien with him. Slade kidnaps Dr. Kirk Langstrom and his family and forces him to do some science for him after letting the doctor know that Raish is retired. And Bruce sees that Damien is pretty skilled. Damien shows up at Bruce's work and lets him know that he is wanting to go after Slade for the death of his grandfather, but Batman shuts it down and sends him home. Talia and the League go after Slade, but she is defeated and captured. Batman goes to interrogate Killer Croc to find Dr. Langstrom, and he comes across a gorilla bat and he's able to defeat it and finds a shuriken left behind. Ubu, Slade's right hand man, has invited some guests over to the house, but Damien busts in and just ruins the party. They have a duel, and Damien is about to kill him, but Nightwing shows up right on time, and Nightwing subdues Damien, and they all go to the Batcave. Batman lectures Damien about not being a killer, and they go out into the night as a unit, but this time Damien is Robin. Batman is able to find Dr. Langstrom, and he doesn't know anything about the Slade situation, so Robin decides to go loud, which forces them to retreat. They are then attacked by man-bats. They are able to escape, and they get Dr. Langstrom to the Batcave, where he explains that Raish hired him to splice human and animal DNA so that they could have a super bat ninja army. Batman and Robin head to the League of Assassins to get Dr. Langstrom's family back. They arrive at the compound and they are able to find Dr. Langstrom's family. The daughter slips a little tablet to Damien from Slade. It's a message from Slade saying that he has Talia and the location. He wants a rematch. Nightwing lets Bruce know that Dr. Langstrom is working on an antidote and the location of Slade. Damien has already made his way there alone. Damien finds himself face to face with Slade down by the Lazarus Pit. He has Talia and threatens to blow her brains out, so Damien has to just kind of stand by while Slade starts monologuing, and then Slade starts shooting at Damien. Batman shows up and Slade unleashes an army of man-bats, but Batman activates the power of prep time, and he had a sonar weapon that makes the man-bats flee. So Batman and Slade have their duel, and Batman beats his ass. Nightwing and Dr. Langstrom show up and start shooting the man-bats with the antidote, and Batman puts Talia in the Lazarus Pit. Talia is revived, and Slade and Damien have their final duel, and Damien is able to come out with the W, but decides not to kill Slade because Batman taught him to be better. The oil rig collapses, and Talia and Batman decide that Damien should stay with him. And in the ending credits, we see still moments of the Damien versus Nightwing fight. So that is the movie. Juice Man, what do you think of the movie?
I think I'm a fan of Damien overall. Like as a character, the story behind Damien, like I'm a fan. The movie itself, it, probably like a 7 out of 10, maybe a 6. And I'm only giving it that high because of it's introducing Damien.
Okay. So sounds like you were not a huge fan.
No, I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't that intrigued by it as much. Yeah, I just wasn't, to be honest.
Okay, cool. Before we start diving into the movie itself, and we're gonna see if that number changes by the end of talking about it. So what were your thoughts on the art style?
I like the art style. I think the art style was dope. So it made the animation uh it made the animation look a little bit more fluid, and then it also made it gave an appeal to like the sense of how dark Batman is with it was very edgy. The art style was. Um Everything had it wasn't smooth curves when doing the designs and the faces and the heads and the eyes and everything goes. Everything was very edgy, and I feel like that really goes into like Batman in a sense. Um, Almost also entitled showing that like this ain't a kids show or movie, really.
Okay. Okay. Uh, I love this art style. It might be my favorite art style of these movies. And there are several movies, moving forward that use this art style because we are now in a connected universe.
Mm,
Um, so we have this Batman has been introduced in we did an episode earlier, Justice League War. And this exists in that same universe. So this whole universe is the DC animated movie universe. And I love that we are in a universe where we have movies that continue. We have a through line. We're able to see people grow and develop and like move in one long story being told. So, very much like how people know the MCU, like these movies exist in the same universe as several other movies.
is the
So,
is the Justice League before this one?
yes, Justice League War is the last episode we talked about.
Okay.
And yeah, in that one we see pretty much everybody meet for the first time. Batman meets Hal. We see that Batman and Flash kind of know of each other. They meet Superman. Wonder Woman
Yeah.
shows up. Shazam. Yeah, all them. So this is that Batman. And yeah, so what were your thoughts on the voice cast?
I personally thought uh the voice cast was good. Um, even though they only have a little bit of Raj's voice, but it's the guy that plays
It's
I,
Giancarlo. He's in everything.
yeah. I
Uh,
was like, I don't know
I,
why I can't think of his
yeah,
name, but
I love Giancarlo. He's in Breaking Bad. He's in The Boys, the third season of The Boys.
exactly. And so
He's
I'm like, I recognize. I think soon as I heard the voice, I immediately knew, like, oh, okay. I'm like,
yeah,
I heard that voice. I said, oh, this is what they're starting.
yeah.
I haven't heard nobody
Uh,
else's, but his first off. Okay, this is
Same out the gate. Because I didn't look at the voice cast before we watching this movie, and like out the gate, I was like, "Oh, Giancarlo, okay." Because yeah, I can hear him wherever he is.
yeah.
Um,
There, some other voices were people that I didn't think I had noticed until I did look up the voice cast, and I'm like, oh yeah, they do play in all these what's it called? But the main guy that played Batman, I was actually surprised. Like I remember hearing his voice before, different things, but I was actually surprised to see he's played in like a multitude of things.
well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like he is Batman in this entire universe,
Yeah,
and
and
like since this entire universe is connected, like he
and that's
there are a lot of people who he is their Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy is my Batman. Batman of the '90s, into the 2000s and
mhm.
certain 2010s things. Like that is my Batman. Uh, Jason is probably younger people's Batman, the people who didn't grow up with Kevin Conroy.
Yeah. And I think it's good because one thing I just hate to hear one voice and then I watch something else and I hear a whole nother voice. It drives me insane.
And that's one of the reasons I ask about the voice cast is because it is kind of different throughout a lot of these movies, but you are in a situation where you are going to hear a consistent Batman, at least in the movies that exist in this universe, because there are some movies in the in between that don't. And that's one thing that I'm okay with the fact that DC does. Like, absolutely everything does not need to be connected, but we know which ones are connected.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons I ask about voice cast is because it sometimes changes and it's not always the same. But for the movies that you and I are going to be discussing through these episodes, it will be consistent.
I
So
think his name
uh,
was John O'Mara.
Jason
That's
O'Mara.
Jason O'Mara. I don't know why I
Yeah.
said John, but I also think he did a good job at the voicing of Batman as well.
Oh, I do too. And I will say he did a good job. He wasn't off putting. It didn't bother me. I wasn't offended by it, but he's my third option for voicing Batman. Um, my first option, of course, Kevin Conroy. My second
Yeah.
option is going to be Bruce Greenwood. Bruce Greenwood voiced Batman in Young Justice, and in episode 8, we talk about Under the Red Hood, and he voices Batman in that movie. So Bruce
I,
Greenwood is my second option.
Under the Red Hood. Okay, I think I remember seeing that. And then Young Justice. I guess I watched Young Justice when it first came out, so I don't remember Batman in particular.
Yeah, and
But
that show's not about Batman, so
yeah, so I was
I
like,
get that. But yeah, like I think he does a good job. But I like Jason O'Mara, and I'm good with it. What were your thoughts on action and fight choreography?
action and fight career. I think it was good. Felt it smooth. Nothing seemed awkward. Uh okay, so everything seemed smooth until the beginning of Damian and Deathstroke's fight at the very end. There was like a scene to where it was like it's crazy that I just remember it. I as soon as I saw it, I was like, okay, that's they're fighting kind of weird. They picked it up, but when they first started, right when they was on the beam or whatever.
Are you talking
uh,
about when Slade kind of kicked Damien into the wall and pinned him with the swords?
yes, it was like right before that happened. It felt like the fight was just kind of like off, like weird in a way. Like it wasn't like they wasn't really fighting. I don't know. I just remember it being weird. But other than that, though, the fighting was really good, especially since they were showing blood and everything else. I think that really enhanced a lot with the fight scenes.
The fight choreography and the action pieces are one of the reasons this is one of my favorite art styles, is because I feel like all of that is done well, and this type of animation lends to that going well.
Yeah,
So
to be honest.
yeah, so um the voice of Talia, the lady who voiced Talia, she one of the things I love that DC does is they reuse people and they move people around, and people have different voices in different stuff, or they're different people in different stuff. She is the actress. Did you watch Gotham?
Mm-mm. It's
Okay.
crazy. My sister was actually super heavy into that, but I think by the time Gotham came out, I was just now hitting college,
Okay.
and so I wasn't watching it like that at all.
Okay. Well, she is Jim. She's one of Jim Gordon's love interests in Gotham at one point, and she is also Deadpool's girlfriend in the Deadpool movies. But that's not DC, but still comic book stuff.
Huh. I don't think I recognize that. I remember looking at her and I thought she looked familiar too.
And she's one of those people, like, you've definitely seen her in stuff, and
Yeah.
she's kind of been in stuff. But okay, so we open with the League of Assassins, and Raish is pretty much saying to Damien, hey, this is going to be your legacy. And then they get attacked by other assassins, but these assassins have bullets. Now, one of the things that I always kind of wonder is, like, assassin groups that only use old school stuff,
Mm.
and how that, can lead to things like this happening.
You basically get screwed over once the military shows up.
I mean, pretty much. Because yeah, Slade sends over some folk, and it is not good for them.
Yeah, they're gonna obliterate it.
Yeah. Uh,
They're shooting. Oh, one thing I remember in particular, they were shooting like a revolving arrow
yeah.
cannon at a
I
helicopter.
Yeah, and it took the helicopter down.
And I'm like, what are we doing? Like,
I
these
want to.
dudes have guns, and y'all are shooting a revolving arrow cannon. I don't even know what's it called. A revolving arrow.
I
I
mean,
don't even know.
I want to call it a ballista, but I don't think that's what a ballista is. I think a ballista shoots like the giant,
It shoots
like,
one
yeah,
huge
one
arrow
giant
at a
thing.
time.
Yeah, but yeah, like I would have called, like, I'd call that, yeah, like an arrow Tommy gun.
Yeah, and I was kind of I was laughing at it because I'm like, bro, what is? And I think it was it Talia or Damien who hopped up
Uh,
to try shooting at
yeah,
it.
Talia got up there and started.
Yeah, I was like, what is this?
I thought it was great.
I'm
Uh,
like, she's over here shooting a revolving arrow
yep,
gun.
and it was great. She was Talia got in there and started working.
She did.
Uh, and I mean, Raish also, like, he was. The thing is, whenever Raish was surrounded by men with guns, I was like, you have a sword, Raish. It's not like
I
people in front of you. Okay, cool. I get how you can handle people in front of you with a sword, but people around you with guns, and you only have a sword, Raish, you're not doing that.
I legit was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh yeah, he about to get shut up. Like, oh, this is it. Dude was deflecting everything. I said, oh, okay, he about that. He
Yeah.
got this.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's nothing.
And so yeah, Slade comes in, they duel, and I kind of wonder if Slade could have beaten him on his own, because Slade has to not necessarily cheat, but Slade has to come up with a method that gets rid of him, that doesn't really have to fight him. So I don't know. I don't know if this is a situation where Slade is smart or Slade is a bitch.
One, I think I've always considered Slade to be like a smart character.
Yes.
He's strong, like he can do what he can do, but I've always considered him to just outthink his opponent, and that's how he wins. He plays ahead every single time, and that's literally how he wins. I feel like almost every fight.
Slade is a lot more tactical.
Yeah,
And Slade is very skilled. So okay, let's call this one Slade being smart in that he pretty much bombs the area, which cooks Raish to a crisp.
he knew he was
And
losing. He
oh
knew he
yeah,
wasn't winning that fight. He wasn't winning that on a fair 1-on-1. He wasn't.
and yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because Slade was coming in there talking big shit, like, "Hey, come fight you a real swordsman."
No, yeah, he definitely was doing some bitch made moves, but I mean, he knew it was going to get him the W, so it's like I can't even fault him on that one.
Yeah. So then Damien shows up and like Slade is about to kill him, and then Damien shows up and hits him right in the eye.
I was like basically whoops his ass again. So
Yeah, and yeah, Damien broke an Xbox. He don't play no games. Damien got him in the eye and was like, "All right, now your heart."
yeah,
And was Damien came in there ready to go. And that is one thing I do like about Damien is Damien, again, he does not play around.
I honestly would say it's the best action scenes, all the best action scenes of the movie is Damien to me. I feel
I
like
see.
Batman scenes were cool, but I feel like I was watching Batman do a lot of throwing. You know what I'm saying? A lot of throwings, a lot of one hits. Damien was putting in like work
Well, Damien
moves.
Damien was killing people.
Yeah, I
Like
mean, yeah,
he's an assassin. Like he was trying to put people in the dirt, and Batman was just trying to subdue. But yeah, I see why you feel that way. So, um, we see that Raish's whole objective was just to kill, or I'm sorry, Slade's objective was just to kill Raish, and then once that was done, he just left. So, like, Slade wasn't worried about anything else. He was like, "All right, Raish is dead. I'm good. We can go."
yeah.
Um,
I thought. Well, actually, I thought he was trying to take. I thought his goal was to take over, or was it just to get revenge against Ray?
it's all of it. But
Okay.
once Raish was dead, then Slade was like, "All right, mission accomplished. We can go."
Okay, because the assumption is that since he's gone, he's kind of in control now.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Talia will,
Was still there, so it
yeah.
was like, yeah,
But Slade did kind of pseudo take control because Slade was at the compound later and Talia tried to get him, but we'll get into that in a minute. So Talia says, "All right, I need to take you to Gotham. I need to leave you with your father because this is not safe. Like Slade is a problem. So I need to get you out of here while I handle the Slade situation." Batman is fighting Killer Croc, and Killer Croc is on that shit. uh Batman just kind of talking to him like, "You're bigger. You have a tail now. What you been using? What's going on here?" And Talia just tases him, and then that's over. And then they go on a little boat date, and we find out that Talia roofied Batman
yeah.
to get her pregnant. That's
I said, wow. Mm.
that's assault,
Yeah, I
Talia.
said, okay, that's tough.
Yeah,
That's tough. Not you force this man into
but that's
uh
how it goes. Like Raish wanted Slade, and then Raish saw Batman and was like, "Oh, you would be a much better successor."
uh,
And whenever Batman was like, "No, thank you, I don't want to be the head of the League of Shadows," um, Raish was like, "Oh, okay, I'll just send my beautiful daughter to get your seed."
and
And
I think it's crazy because I mean, in the comics, I think they do it like several different ways. Like, I think he actually does just sleep with her in some of the comics, and then that's why I'm like, I wonder why they went this route in this one instead of just actually showing like a. I mean, I know there was romance, but
Yeah.
I just wonder why they went that route in this one. Maybe
I think because they know that Batman is far too careful to have just let that happen.
to just do that, do some stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah, and there are some differences between this movie and the comic book. So, whenever I read the comic book, it was a while ago, so I'm going on my memory here, but some of the things that I remember, um, in the comic book, there was a whole lot less cooperation in general. Like Talia was the one who was a problem in the comic book for this. Talia was the one who kidnapped Dr. Langstrom. Um, she's the one who wanted, or I don't know if she kidnapped him, but she was the one who wanted the Man Bat formula, and she kidnapped his wife and was threatening to pretty much fuck her up if he didn't do what she wanted. Um, and Batman is fighting and just kind of gets knocked out and then wakes up. And Talia is like, "Hey, you have a son. He's going with you now." Um, and in the comic book, he meets Tim instead of Dick. Because in this movie, he meets Dick, but in the comic book, it's Tim. And whenever they fight, he actually wins, and then he steals the Robin costume and just kind of goes. And in this, there's a lot more cooperation between parties in this movie. But
probably for flow.
oh yeah, I think it worked out. So Damian arrives and Damian is just unimpressed. Like, it's kind of funny that Damian is just like, "Oh, I expected you to be taller. I expected you to have more shit. I expected you to have more money. I expected you to have more bitches. I expected you to have more servants.
My man
What are
says,
you doing?"
send me back to my mama's house.
Yeah, like
I'm
with
going
you
back to
with
my
you
mama's house. I don't want
yeah,
to be over here.
with your little stuff. Like Damien was woefully unimpressed. And yeah. And then of
Just
course Alfred was like, "It's creepy how much he reminds me of you, sir."
it's kind of crazy though, because I'm like, my guy has been growing up in like a non-technology scenario where he's been at and coming into like a more technological place, I guess. But I was like, I guess he was already used to, because when he said something about like he's hacked into somewhere before already, I'm like, okay, so that must mean they use advanced technology in some kind of form or fashion of where they're at, even though the weapons that they use is traditional.
Yes. That is pretty much what it comes down to. Is
And
they have very traditional teachings, but are still with the times as far as probably traveling and intel and
being such an assassin in that kind of form or fashion, which
yeah.
which makes sense. And that it was just kind of like, yeah, my guy was just he was definitely acting like, this is a piece of shit and I want to go home.
Pretty much. And Damien lives by the Wish Creed. Uh, and that's probably the reason Damien has so many fans, is because Damien does not give a fuck. Damien really does wish a motherfucker would. Like, he lives by the Wish Creed. Like Damien, whenever there was one point where when Damien was fighting Ubu, Ubu was like, "You thought I would just make it easy and tell you?" And Damien was like, "I didn't want easy." It's like, oh yeah, he came to play today.
That's a fact. That man was prepared to kill him either way.
Oh yeah. So we get to a point where Dr. Langstrom is being abducted because Slade wants to continue the whole man bat situation because Slade has essentially taken over. And Talia goes after Slade and is almost immediately defeated. Like,
Yeah,
she
totally.
just kind of gets hit with the butt of a sword, and now she's done. It's like, oh, okay, that was easy. Um, and then Batman goes to interrogate Killer Croc, which that was ridiculous. Those withdrawals Killer Croc was going through.
I was definitely like not confused, but I was just like, okay, this is weird. And then he ripped off like as a threat. My guy ripped his whole tail off. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm pretty sure he felt that. That was
Oh,
pretty
he
gruesome.
absolutely felt that.
That was a
And
gruesome thing to do as a form of interrogation.
well, yeah, and I'm sure that well, because Batman said like the tail is new, so that, that's a mutation you didn't have before.
Yeah.
And Batman also wanted to tell him like, hey, you're a lizard, you'll probably grow it back, but you need drugs,
I
and
got you,
I
man.
can help you get drugs. So if you help me, I will help you. Because these with you are falling apart. I should not have been able to rip your tail off.
And they didn't follow up with that, did they? They didn't say like they didn't show him actually giving him anything, did they?
No, we do not see Killer Croc again.
Okay, that's what. Okay, I was double checking, but yeah, I was like, that doesn't very seem. It seems Batman like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, yeah, I can see Batman doing and stuff like that, or making that type of deal. But I guess him actually following through with that deal, I'm not sure of that actually being a thing. I mean,
Yeah,
he just ripped his tail off with ease. I'm pretty sure he gives no fucks about this
yeah.
about this man.
And I mean, I don't know if it's a situation where Batman will get him the drugs that he actually needs, or if Batman will give him the drugs that will like curb the withdrawals.
Yeah.
But either way, Batman is like, I can get you some good stuff. But right now, you don't want to stay like this. So you need to tell me what I want to know. And Batman's interrogation skills are pretty top tier from what we see.
Always.
So and then we see a gorilla bat thing.
Yeah, I think that's really for me when the movie really started taking like
Like a little nosedive.
yeah. When they started doing all of that, I think actually at that point I started to look up. I started to do additional research about what exactly it is that I'm looking at. Because I'm like, what is this? What are we going towards now? That's when I looked up Langstrom. And then I saw the whole story about Langstrom and everything else. I was like, oh, okay. But
Yeah, and this is this is a later Batman. The fact that Damian is like good and a teen, well, I guess a preteen, teenager, roughly that age, and Nightwing is an adult.
yeah,
This is definitely an older Batman, so he's been Batmaning for a while.
wow. Yeah. And it
And yeah, so one thing that I do like that this movie did, so we see that Batman learns in this movie, and Batman uses the things that happen um in a way that makes sense. So earlier, we see how Talia subdued Killer Croc. Batman saw that and was like, "Huh, that I'm gonna add that to the list." And then we see him do that same thing to the Gorilla Bat thing,
mhm.
which of course it didn't work, but I like that we saw Batman like learning in real time and strategizing and updating and all of that. Like
I think
I love stuff like that.
I think that really goes to show like the power that Batman has, that he learns in every situation. He's also tactical. Like
Yes. Like his
in
power is prep time.
yeah. Everything is he's but even outside of, well, I guess you couldn't say, because I was like, even in the midst of a fight, he has the prep of gadgets or things that he does in that moment that utilizes what's around him and everything else. So I guess that is cool kind of prep time, but he's very tactical in everything he does.
Very. And yeah, like Batman is one of the most skilled at all of the things that require skills. Like he can just kind of do a lot of stuff. Um, so yeah, the Gorilla Bad thing was weird, but that's fine. We got past that. And he finds the shuriken that's left behind. So then Ubu is about to, have some ladies of the evening. and Damian busts in and says, "Leave, harlots," uh, which is one of my favorite lines in any of these movies, um, because they didn't deserve that. But
Uh,
Damian lives by the wish creed.
I think it's interesting that they try to cut because she's like about to close the curtains of the outside patio door. And she's about to say something and she's cut off before saying it. I think she's about to say that. I think she's about to say the F word or something.
So, Dick definitely is about to at one point, but
That's the scene. But I don't know why I thought
so
the
so
women
in
would say something.
so in this scene, the window is open, and the lady is pretty much saying, "If you want me to get naked, I'm not about to do it with these windows open." I think is what she's saying, and Ubu sees that the window is open and is like, "Oh, somebody's in here."
Yeah.
So he immediately goes into defense mode because he's like, "Nah, an open window means somebody." Like he knows how the assassin game works.
I actually thought it was either Slade or Batman that was in there originally.
Well, since he and Slade are working together, it being Slade wouldn't have made sense. But
I
I
thought Slade would have known that they were going to try to get at him to interrogate him. So I thought in my mind, I just thought, okay, maybe Slade showed up to, put it into this before they can get to him to interrogate him. And then I was like, okay, no, maybe it's Batman. Then I was like, okay, never mind. Actually, it would make sense why I always showed up.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like Damien, he again, Damien goes loud. Like he definitely just came through the ceiling. He didn't sneak in or anything. He just broke glass, made a scene.
Fully confident in that he's about to whoop this man's
Yeah,
ass.
said leave harlots, and he was just Damien was about business.
And that's why we
So
love Damien.
yeah, so Damien gets to fighting. Ubu puts on his Wolverine claws, and it just doesn't go well for him. And Damien is ready. Like Damien says, "Where is Slade?" And Ubu says, "Kill me right now." Damien says, "My pleasure."
That's a bet.
I would love to. I thought you'd never ask.
Bro said, say less. All
Yeah,
right, cool.
because like I will never tell you anything. So yeah, go ahead and do it. Oh, okay. And Nightwing shows up right on time.
I do wish they showed that. I do wish they had showed that fight, actually. I think that would
Yeah,
have been very good.
I do too. They do show moments from it in the end. I don't know if you watched after the credits, but or during the credits, they would show stills from that fight.
I actually did not
Okay, so yeah, if you
say
go
even
back
though.
and that's the thing. Like usually, if there's nothing after the credits, it'll do the whole like your next movie coming up is, and it did that. So because it did that, you were probably like, oh, there's nothing after the credits, because it usually doesn't do that when there is stuff after the credits. So it makes sense that you wouldn't have checked that.
I
But
don't even think I thought twice about it, to be honest. I watched it on Max.
yes, and that's what I'm saying. Like Max was like, "Hey, we got some other shit for you. You're probably gonna like this," and so that's why you were like, "Yep, all right, movie's over."
Yeah.
So, for those of you who did not stay during the credits, if you watch the credits, then you'll see moments from the fight between Damian, and Robin. So, luckily for Nightwing, he's able to, you know, subdue him, but he got to work for that meal, and he walks away with some bruises.
I was lucky thinking like he had the harder job of not
Yes, he
hurting
did,
him, but just subduing.
because Damian was trying to kill him,
And Damien's
and
like, nah, fuck all that.
yeah,
I'm trying to
fuck
kill
all
you.
that. Yeah, uh,
So
Damien lives by the wish creed, and Damien wishes a motherfucker would, and Nightwing did. So
that's what I was
yeah,
like. I mean, that kind of shows, Nightwing still, he's that guy. The fact
yeah,
that he was able to subdue and not,
yeah.
maim.
The fact that Damien was immobilized and walked away pretty unhurt, and Nightwing required medical assistance from Alfred.
Yeah.
That is why Nightwing was about to cuss him out. because yeah, like right after that, Nightwing was about to call him out of his name,
Yeah.
and Alfred, Master Dick. So, um, yeah, that's that whole scene is just great. So we find out about Slade, and so then now they kind of reverse. I don't know if this was jealousy or if it was a reverse psychology situation, because Damian at first had no interest in being Robin. Damian pretty much said that looked kind of gay.
He
Like,
definitely was not feeling
that's what
the
he said. Like, he was like, it looks a little effeminate, don't you think?
he was not
Just
feeling the suit whatsoever.
at all.
Which
Um,
yeah, that was kind of like why did he I think he wanted to be like close to his dad, low key.
yeah. And so it was a little bit of jealousy, a little bit of reverse psychology, because he wanted nothing to do with it. And then whenever Nightwing was like, no, you could never be Robin, then he's like, no, fuck, no, I'm gonna be Robin. No, I will be Robin, as a matter of fact. Give me the suit.
This
I'll put a suit
I'm
on.
gonna be a better one.
Yeah. So, he again, I don't know if the reverse psychology was on purpose, or if Robin was, or if Nightwing was genuinely like, no, that is not for you. Like, that's no, we're not doing that. So he goes now. Batman, of course, he has to, and the way that Batman lectures makes sense. The way that Superman lectures is usually like, very out of touch, but Batman was basically like, you are still a child and you do not understand how things work. We do what is right because it is right, and that is what we do.
He was
And
sounding like a
so,
dad for sure when
yeah.
he was going off on him.
And then he was like, and you need to get behind it. And then he throws a shuriken at him, and he caught it, and he was like, oh, you're kind of good.
Man said what would happen if I wouldn't have caught it? It would have hurt.
Yeah, she would have hurt.
What?
Yeah, you would have felt that,
I'm like,
because
man
he
would
threw
have
that. He threw that thing like, yeah, and
then I was like, is it not sharp? Because that would have went into his forehead.
oh
That
yeah,
wouldn't have just been a scratch. No, my man would have been hurt.
he would have been hurt. He would have required assistance from Alfred.
But no, yeah, it's the fact that he literally just lectured him, then throws the shuriken, and then smirks as he catches it. Like, yeah, that's my nigga.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, we can make that work.
He said, oh
Because
yeah, this my nigga for sure.
yeah, earlier in the movie, Batman was Batman was like, I understand that he's cutting down on my beautiful shrubbery, but he kind of good. Like, he got some skills.
He knew
Uh,
immediately.
yeah, he knew immediately, and then yeah, like he just wanted to test him, like, and the fact that he did what he did to Nightwing, I'm sure Batman felt safe throwing the shuriken at him,
Oh,
because he was like, yeah, the fact that he put Nightwing in that kind of situation means the boy's good.
that's why he immediately after felt to say, stay close
Yeah,
because he knew oh,
and
he can hang.
yeah, he can hang. And he was definitely giving him lessons and teaching him things while they were on the mission. And the good thing about this is Batman has already worked out some of the kinks that come with doing this. The whole, teaching a ward how to be out in the field and do things, like Batman has already done all of the bad parenting
Uh-huh.
with several different Robins. And so Damian might be getting like the best version of learning how to be Robin.
I mean, on top of, I mean, he's getting one of the most talented of all of them to
Oh
like
yeah.
to teach. So now it's like the only thing Damien really needs is like
The morals.
yeah, he just needs them. He just that's all he needs to be
Yeah,
honest.
Damian needs the morals and like maybe some of the detective things. But like Damian, like as far as skills, Batman doesn't have to teach Damian, or Batman is going to have to teach Damian how to pull it back, if anything.
Yeah.
Like Batman's going to have to teach Damian to control himself. That's why whenever they do go loud, Batman is like, no swords, because I know if you have a sword, people will die today, and we're not doing that.
I was he said no swords, and I was like, okay, he about to throw the sword down and go to work. No, dude kept the sword in his hand, just didn't kill nobody, but was still going to work. I was like,
Yeah, he
okay,
was just like, I'll just do it with my feet then.
yeah.
Yeah, he's like, so he said no swords. And he's like, I'm keeping it. I just won't use it. But it's still gonna be on me. I'm gonna still have that thing on me, just just in case.
He's, I'm gonna keep it tucked.
Yeah. So they find Dr. Langstrom and Damien, goes in. He's pissed. So he causes a scene. And then they have to retreat. And Damien is like, I ain't no bitch. And Batman is like, be smart. That's not what this is. So Batman is also having to, remove some of that. I don't necessarily say we need to call it toxic masculinity, but that's the vibe I got. Because Damien's definitely got some of that.
He's is definitely he always says when he always references his grandfather, basically, and he just yeah,
The
yeah.
fact that he kept calling the Robin suit gay, and the fact that he was like, no, I ain't no bitch, we gonna stay. Like, yeah, there's some toxic masculinity that Batman's gonna have to work out of him.
After he
But
said the no killing, and then so they were fighting the group of man bats, whatever.
mm,
They were just fighting. They didn't kill nobody. But then Damien killed one. And I was like, ooh, is that not what they're supposed to be doing? Right. And then as they were running and all this other kind of stuff. And then when Batman exploded the whole rooftop and it basically just killed all of them, I'm like, oh, we don't give a fuck about the man bats.
yeah, and
They're no longer people.
that's one of the things I was wondering too. I was gonna say, like, so the man bats aren't they're not people? Like, are
That's
we, so we're just fine killing them? And then whenever we learn later that there's an antidote and that they can be cured, I was like, oh, so those men just lost their lives.
they just die.
They're
That's
just
what,
dead.
and I think that's why I was really confused. I'm like, oh, these I thought these were still people, but then when Damien stabbed one, and then Batman just blew the roof up and killed all of them, I was like, oh, okay, I guess they're not. And then later on, I'm learning like, oh,
I
so
I
they
did the
did.
same thing.
They just
I was
killed all
like,
those people.
yeah, I was like, oh, okay, so those are demons. They're not people. That's fine. And then I found out they're people. I was like, oh, so yeah, those innocent. Well, I don't know if they're innocent, but they're dead now.
Yeah, for sure.
So okay, I guess we're done with that because yeah, like you could say all day long. Well, we don't know if Batman can. Nope, they're dead.
They were
They
indeed dead.
yeah, they were dead. If I've learned anything, it's that being crushed is fatal.
Facts.
So they get Dr. Langstrom into the Batcave, and he explains, like, Raish hired me to create a Superman Bat Ninja army because nobody can do shit about it. So Raish was gonna take over the planet with them. That was what was gonna happen. And now Slade is probably gonna do the same thing. Like, it's an issue because yeah, to have super first of all, they have superhuman abilities and they have sonar, and they can move around at night, they can fly. Like, that's an issue. Like, to have those be ninjas, oh yeah, they can
And
take
then
over.
I'm like, did they literally just base this off the idea of Batman in general? Like
Well,
that's why I was more like, so they was like, oh yeah, we can bats, they could do all these things, assassins, and was just like, yeah, we're gonna move forward with this.
I mean, that could be it. We've seen Raish use other people in Batman's rogues gallery to kind of distract him or give him issues. We definitely see that in Under the Red Hood. He hires the Joker to occupy Batman while he does some other shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Rage to me as a character is kind of like he's low key always the mastermind of like a bigger thing. Like, and then it's like, oh, this whole thing that's been happening, secretly Raish has been behind this whole like the whole time.
Yeah, that's yeah. Raish is a mastermind. In episode 13, the episode or the movie we talk about is Justice League Doom. In Justice League Doom, Batman, as you know, has a contingency plan for every member of the Justice League to subdue them, right?
Yeah.
Neutralize, if you will.
Uh-huh.
In the Tower of Babel comic book, it is Raish who steals Batman's plans to subdue every member of the Justice League, and his plan is to basically incite a planet-wide war by destroying people's ability to decipher language. And the
The crow.
movie, yeah, like the movie adaptation is very different than that, but that's the comic book. And so yeah, like Raish is usually a mastermind who's doing high level shit. Like he
Yeah.
doing big boy shit. And that's what this, yeah, like he was trying to take over the planet with a Superman bat army of ninjas. And I'm sure Damien knew nothing about it. But
Actually, didn't
or
no, was it Talia that mentioned it? I feel like one of them mentioned about like,
Talia
nah,
probably knew.
I probably was Talia that mentioned like, oh, this was the plan from the get go. Like, oh yeah, this is what we were trying to do.
Yeah. So they free Dr. Langstrom and he tells them that. And so they're like, all right, let's go and, handle it because it needs handling.
But
So
also, so okay, hold on. With another thing, Langstrom. Well, my guy technically is a villain
he
because he
is,
was he was doing this before, like before his family got kidnapped. He was doing this.
yeah, and he's man bat. So that's the thing. He is man bat.
That's why I
He
was like, that's when I did research and I also read that I'm like, yeah, this man is literally just yeah, he was already doing this anyway, and then all of a sudden now he's just
well, and I think that because we're dealing with a lot of stuff that has already happened that we never saw,
mm,
it is in I'm under the impression that he was man bat and he's cured now, he's good, he's not doing that anymore to himself. He's doing science in other ways, but it sounds like he's still doing some animal shit under the table.
yeah. And I was like, that's basically what it is.
And I don't know if that's to make some extra money. I don't know if it's because he's still a little villainous. In this movie, we're kind of led to believe that he's not a bad person at all.
Yeah, I guess because I was like, wow, all of a sudden he's just so willy nilly happy to make cures or antidotes or whatever.
And that's like
Just
he wanted the antidote because I don't think he wants there to be man bats.
yeah, so
But
I was like, okay.
yeah, we're led to believe he's, a pretty cool guy. That he's not evil or that there's no malicious intent. So they go to the League of Shadows, and they are able to find the family. And the daughter slips Damien a little phone and says, "Hey, Slade told me to give this to you. Don't tell Batman." And it is Slade essentially issuing a challenge,
Uh,
saying, "Hey, here's where I am. Come get your mother." Because I need a rematch, boy. Now, one thing that we do see Batman looking through the rooms, and he sees some signs of torture. Now, Batman already knows that Slade has Talia, and Batman, knowing that Damian has seen some shit and done some shit, still says, "I don't want Damian to see this room. I need to spare him from seeing the results of his mother being tortured. Like I don't want to put him through that. He has been through enough." And I don't know if it's a situation where he's like, I don't want him to see that his mother went through that for his own mental health, or if it's a situation I don't want him to see that because then he's gonna fly off the fucking handle.
I think it's I mean overall I think it's W parenting. I think
Yeah.
overall Batman's parenting in this whole movie, A1, it's good.
Yep.
Teaching them lessons also, considering his feelings and emotions and everything. But I definitely think it was he did not want him to see that his mother has been tortured like that, regardless of whatever he's experienced.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, I would have done the same thing. I would have been like, nope, there was nothing in there.
No, yeah, not this one. Not
We're
this one.
gonna
Go ahead.
we're gonna move on.
Keep moving on. No, it's good.
Yeah, because, ooh, yeah.
I was looking at that room like, damn, that's a lot of blood. I'm like,
Yeah,
what
a
was
lot of
happening?
blood.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah. So, she was going through some stuff, but that's what torture, tends to look like, especially with somebody of Talia's caliber.
She said, I'm gonna stand 10 toes down when you want to ask me about who Batman is.
Yeah.
Ten toes down. What you mean?
Yeah, hell no, I'm not gonna tell you. You ain't him. That's what I know. I know you ain't him.
Yeah,
So
she was good for that one.
And the fact that he's been able to keep his identity this secret for this long is kudos. But Slade issues the challenge, and then we see Nightwing kind of letting Bruce know what the deal is. They are in the hotel room, and just Damian orders some food to make it look like he's there. And then Batman learns about where everything is happening, and Damian has already left. And Nightwing says, it's 50 miles off the coast. What is he going to do? Swim there? This little guy swam 50 miles.
I was like, hell yeah. At first, I was thinking, oh, he probably stole the Batmobile or some shit like that. But not then actually showing him swim, I said, oh yeah, he's him. That's why he's him.
My guy took the Nike Express 50 miles, because that's the thing. He had to get to the coast and then swim the 50 miles.
My man said 50. All right,
yeah,
cool.
All right. Because he saw the location was in the middle of the water. Was not phased.
I said, I'm gonna get there.
He said, all right. And then he just swam there. Now, the good thing is he did have a little breathing thing, so he didn't swim just all the way over water. So
regardless, that's a hella the amount of stamina
to walk 50 miles is absurd.
Crazy. That's a run. Like you walking 50 miles is crazy. Swam. Yeah. The guy said I'm swimming. He's like what, 12, 11?
12.
Maybe,
let's say 12.
Maybe 13. Yeah, he looked like 12. Dude said, yeah, I'm gonna swim there.
Yep. Wild. That's the thing. The record for running a mile, if you run a 6-minute mile, that's impressive.
That is impressive, actually.
And so 50 miles.
Like I said, I did this when I was 7.
Yep. He's like, this is nothing to me.
He said, what? So, I did this when I was 4. Come on now.
Yeah.
I was swimming before I walked.
And that's one of the things Damian said, yeah, I had to climb these mountains in my training when I was 4 years old. And Bruce was like, that's a pretty intense training. I didn't even do that. He's like, yeah, I broke my wrist, but I made it. And Batman's like, you have some trauma. We got some work to do, because that's wild.
Ain't nothing uncovering that besides an ass whooping at that point. He ain't letting that go.
So Damian said, yeah, a 50-mile swim, child's play. So Damian makes the swim without an issue, and then proceeds to start fighting
immediately.
Yeah,
he went to work
out the water, just starts, putting people down, not killing them, of course, just, putting people down a little bit. And so, yeah, Batman shows up and Slade unleashes. Well, before that happens, he's able to find Slade and Talia, and Slade is ready to put a bullet in Talia. And so Damian has to listen to some monologuing and doing the whole hey, you're just a spoiled brat. And then Slade just starts, hating. Slade is like, if it wasn't for you and your bitch ass daddy, we wouldn't be in this situation. It should have been me all along. I should have been the successor. I should have had Talia, and you should have been Slade was just hate.
That's why I was like, my man was really just beefing with a little kid. Because at first, I was thinking like, okay, maybe he's doing all this to lure Batman. You know what I'm saying? But then after a while, I'm like, his beef is with Batman, but he's really not trying to pick that fight. Like he's really just trying to beef with Damian at this point, a point in time. Like,
And that's the thing. I feel like normally Slade wouldn't have said, and don't tell Batman. But because it was Batman, Slade knew he didn't want those fucking problems.
he said, "No, nah, just don't tell Batman. It's only you."
Yeah, Slade said, no, I don't want him here because there's a reason that Raish wanted him instead of me. So
Facts.
no, I do not know. Do not bring his ass here. I do not want those problems. And we saw that happen. We saw why Slade said, nah, don't bring that nigga here.
he
Don't
got
bring him.
he was getting mollywopped.
Yeah, Slade got his ass beat. And of course, before that happens, Slade is monologuing, just being a hater, just oozing with jealousy. And then he starts shooting. Batman shows up, and Slade was prepared. Slade was like, "Yeah, I'll just use the Bat Army so that I don't have to fight Batman." And
Uh-huh.
Batman was like, "Yeah, we're not doing that because I have prep time." And so Batman prep timed all of the bats out of the room, and so Slade and Batman have to fight because Slade's like, well, now, shit. Okay, I gotta fight you. And Batman beat his ass, as we knew was gonna
it
happen.
I think it's so crazy to me that like in this movie, it just felt like Slade was so like, yeah, he was the main villain, but he didn't feel much of a threat to me. And I think
Correct.
I'm thinking so much of the Slade of like Teen Titans. Like Slade in Teen Titans was like a demon. Like
Yeah,
this nigga was beating Robin's ass to where this man was dreaming about him.
yeah. Giving him nightmares. Like,
Dude was scared.
yeah, Slade was, and that's the thing. In this same situation, like that's why Slade was like, "Don't bring Batman. Don't bring him because if it's just you, I can deal with you. I understand that you got me, but like I can deal with a Robin, but like I'm not ready for a Batman."
Yeah, it definitely was feeling that way.
And yeah, like this was kind of evidence of that. This is why we see Slade um dealing with children because against children Slade is a real threat.
Yeah, it
But
was
against
against
Batman, he's not.
he's really not that guy whatsoever. I mean, in the video games though, they also portray Slade to be like, oh, like on par with
Yes.
Batman.
And honestly he is because Slade is a super soldier. Like
Yeah.
Slade is a fucking problem. And if it's a situation where somebody said, "Hey, you need a job done," who were you gonna hire? Like Slade is near the top of the list.
And that's why I'm like, I guess I'm in different scenarios, like, yeah, I see Slade as like he's that guy. He's like top of the chain, giving Batman serious problems when it comes to just straight up fists.
Yeah, there are a lot of versions of Slade because that's the thing. Slade is still very competent, and Slade is still very capable, and Slade is still kind of an issue. Like Slade got a lot done in this. He killed Raish,
Uh-huh.
which is a tall order.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
He defeated Talia with little effort. But yeah, one on one, Damian is the seed of Batman, so perhaps that's why it was such an issue. But yeah, Slade knew he did not want those problems. And Slade, yeah, typically I would agree. Like Slade is one of the people that Batman's gonna have to work for that meal
Yeah, for sure.
in almost every case. And in just about every version we see of Slade, Slade is a problem.
The big giving mean problems to him. So that's why I was like, Batman kind of just whooping his ass with ease. I'm like, okay, it is what it is. I mean, I was more interested in Damien, to be honest, the whole movie. So seeing Damien really be the one to like engage in that whole thing was definitely probably more satisfying honestly, as well. Anyway,
Yeah. Um, and yeah, Slade had a vendetta. Like, nigga, you took my eye. Like that. That's why I may not be as sharp as I used to, because my peripherals
facts.
is gone. Like I can't see as well. But yeah. Um, so they have their one-on-one fight while Batman puts Talia in the Lazarus pit, and she, gets revived.
Yeah,
And they always say, for every dip in the Lazarus pit, you come out with a little less of your mind.
and that's what I was trying to think about that because I was like, when she came back out, I was like, isn't there like a side effect for every time you do it? Like you come back more evil or some shit like that. Like
And you come back a
you have
little crazy,
less of your soul or something. Um,
pretty
and I was
much.
like, that's what led to the downfall of Raj. Like he kept doing it, so he got more crazy.
Pretty much. And that's the thing. It depends. Usually that is the case. Sometimes you get a little more crazy every time. Sometimes you only come out crazy if you're dead and get revived.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So it depends on which version of the Lazarus Pit we're dealing with, because Raish kind of uses it to stay young, and like usually Raish doesn't die and then go in there. Like he'll just age a lot, get really really old, and then use it kind of like a fountain of youth.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people who they come out crazy because they were dead and they get revived, which is one of the things that we see in Under the Red Hood. Uh, Jason Todd gets revived by the Lazarus Pit.
Hmm.
And the whole reason that Raish does that is because whenever Raish hired the Joker, Raish miscalculated how crazy the Joker is. Raish hired the Joker just to distract Batman and did not realize that the Joker was the level of crazy that he is. And so whenever the Joker killed Jason with the crowbar, Raish was like, I didn't feel right. I didn't like it. I didn't feel right. So I tried to give him back to you, and he came out a little off. But
Man said, no, that ain't the same boy. I'm sorry.
I tried to give you your son back, but yeah, he came out a little different
Man said,
than when he went in.
weird. Hmm,
Yeah, like, oh,
weird.
that never happened to me.
No. Oh, okay.
So yeah, your mind is a little altered if you die and come back. But as far as every time you go in there, if you're alive, I don't know. And I don't know if Talia was dead or if she was
She was
just
just really
really
injured.
unconscious.
Yeah, because they made her head flop back as if she like died. Because like she was just in his arms, and then he was like thinking about putting her in there, and then like her head just flopped back, and I was like, did she just die? Like,
Yeah. So I'm not sure if she was dead. The way that she came out of there led me to believe she was dead, because usually whenever people emerge from the Lazarus pit like that, like whenever they like Super Saiyan out of it,
yeah, because her eyes were like blank and everything else, and then they appeared, and I'm like, okay, I'm assuming she just came back to life. Like she wasn't just healed; she came back to life.
yeah, I think she was dead and got revived.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what it looked like to me. So Damian and Slade have their final duel, and Damian comes out with a W. And Slade says, like, hey, finish me, do it. Your grandfather would have done it. Don't be a bitch, Damian. And Damian's like, no, I am my father's son too. So you got lucky today, Slade.
He definitely grew up in that instance of like a, oh, this is the flow of a movie, so we're going to show some growth.
Yeah. So I do have one question for you. Um, with how Damian and Slade were both um similar in their temperament, do you think that it was just jealousy, or do you think that they were the way they were because they were assassins? And so
Are you talking about like Slade being jealous?
Yes, Slade and Damian. Um, do you think that their jealousy stems from kind of an assassin mindset of I have to kill everyone in my way to get to the top, and I have to eliminate all competition. I like that's just the way that things go around here, or do you think it was just pure jealousy?
I feel like Slade's was pure jealousy. I think once he knew that he was out of the scenario of like taking over and everything else, his was pure jealousy at that point. Like he was upset. He was just pissed off in general about that whole thing. So I think at that point he was like, fuck everybody. I'm killing every single person here. I'm gonna take out the main guy. Fuck what y'all got going on. How could you do this to me? I think his was jealousy.
Okay, so
Damien,
Slade was just a hater.
yeah, Damien, I think is just I think based off of how he grew up, that he's an assassin. I feel like it's cockiness. Like
Well, and
his,
the reason I asked that question is because whenever like Damien has a very strong sense of entitlement,
of
which
course,
he was raised with, and we don't really see any issues because Damien was kind of like, this ain't shit until Nightwing shows up. Once Nightwing shows up, then Damien is like, no, I'm the rightful son.
no, yeah, he felt
Yeah, I bet you take a step back. I'm here now. We don't need you.
he saw that and it was like, did you used to wear this? And he's like, huh?
And he was trying to play it off like it's a little outfit. Um, but then whenever Nightwing was like, no, it's yeah, it is still mine today. It's
you
mine
would
right now, and
you would never don that.
you could never. That's when Damien is like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's my daddy.
I will say in that I think in that particular, I think it was definitely like a hint of jealousy and that also that cockiness of like, no, no, I'm him. I'm him. So I'm going to do this just to prove that I'm him actually.
Yeah, actually, yeah. You're no longer needed. You can go home. Thanks.
Yeah, that's definitely his whole vibe. I feel like that whole thing. I do think it was a little bit of jealousy, probably hidden. Like that jealousy was probably hidden, but I think
Oh,
openly
he
showing,
tried to hide it,
yeah,
but no, he was it was he was like, no, that's my daddy. We'll take it from here.
yeah.
You can, yeah, we're good. You can go home now. We don't need you anymore. Thanks for your time, but I'm here now. You can go. So yeah, definitely some jealousy. And definitely, some like moments where it's like, Damien, you're still a child and you still just want a relationship with your dad.
Yeah, that definitely showed him. His emotions definitely showed his age for sure.
Yeah. And whenever Talia showed up and was like, all right, Damien, let's go. And Damien was like, oh, fine. Okay.
I legit thought that he was actually gonna go, and I was like, I could have sworn that's not how this movie ends. Because I'm like, what? I'm like, I don't remember that whatsoever. And then I was like, okay, we can see how different changes. But I definitely thought, no, that's crazy. I didn't know he actually just was like, yeah, I'll go, I guess.
Because in the comic book, Talia was like, hey, choose me or him. And he was like, can't we just be a family? Like, can't we just all just be together? And in this one, Talia was the one who was like, yeah, just come with me and we can be a family. And Batman was like, no, I'm not doing that. We disagree on the League of Shadows, and I think it needs to be disbanded. And you're
Wait,
trying to grow it and make it better. That's we don't align there.
that is like a big thing that I was thinking about, like towards the end of the movie, was like Batman just allows the league to exist. Like he's like, I know this is a major problem. I know that what they do. I'm just not gonna worry about it till it comes across my face.
Well, and that's one of those things is like that's a large scale thing that Batman would have like so there are a couple of things there. A, the ramifications would be wild. B, that's a tall order to take care. Like and it's a situation of like you cut off one head, another head will just grow. So like
It's going to continue
that's
regardless.
far too large scale.
Yeah, I can
Um,
see that.
and the fact that Batman is not even able to keep like mafia and like drug street crime and all that from happening. Like all of the criminals in Gotham City know about Batman. They quake in their boots and they have fear in their hearts whenever Batman shows up, but they are still doing criminal activity. Like the shit is still happening, even though they know for a fact Batman is there.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I
And
just think
so like the
I
League
would.
of Shadows is bigger shit than that. The League of Shadows is worldwide. And Batman can't do that by himself. And even if Batman takes that on, that's going to consume all of his attention. And it's one of those things that's going to be ongoing because they don't stop. They keep going.
Yeah, I guess it just came to my mind when he was talking when he mentioned the whole disbanding. I'm like, yeah, I guess that's just never gonna happen.
Correct.
You said that for no reason. I'm not sure why you even brought that up.
Yeah, like they are entrenched. And again, like they do world shit. Like they do like high level takeover. Like they
Yeah,
topple governments and like that's the kind of shit they do. So yeah, like Batman, as much as he has, Damian kind of let us know that Batman doesn't have the resources to deal with a League of Shadows type problem on his own.
that is true. I mean, this is just him trying to. Hell, I
Because
mean, he's trying to take care of the people, the same niggas that break out of jail every single out of prison every
yeah,
couple months.
and that's the thing. Like Batman does have Batman Inc., and there is a lot that Batman's able to do. But again, League of Shadows, that's big shit, and that is something that Batman is not gonna be able to do alone,
Yeah,
uh, let alone quickly. So he kind of just has to let them exist.
yeah.
And I'm sure that there's um some kind of a not necessarily an agreement, but an understanding.
He tries to take care of certain things while if it crosses his face, he's like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and handle this.
Yeah,
I can't just let this slide. You're in my city.
exactly. And I mean, the fact that uh Raish is trying to get Batman to be the successor means that Raish isn't going to come after Batman or do anything terrible.
But yeah, he's
And
trying to
then,
win him over still.
the whole beloved with Talia, like they're not going to do anything to Batman. Now they got a son together, so
Yeah.
Batman is good. But yeah, as long as the League of Shadows is not actively doing anything, I guess it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Damian stays with Batman, and Batman is like, "Hey, you still can't drive." And yeah, that's a movie.
I think that was a cute little scene at the end.
Yeah, nice
That was a
little
cute.
callback.
Yeah, that was a cute little scene about them. He trying to drive shows Damien's personality still.
Yeah, I know how.
Yeah, I think that was pretty dope. That was nice. That was
Yeah.
nice.
So, Juice Man, scale of 1 to 10.
I I guess I probably would go up to like an 8.
Okay.
Yeah, I would go up to an 8. It's like really talking it through and like thinking about it. Like it's really not that bad. To be
Yeah,
honest, it's
it's
not that bad.
it's pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a pretty good
it's pretty
movie.
solid. Yeah.
To be honest, like if they would have made that longer, like if they would have made the movie longer, had more stuff in there, I probably would have gave it a 10. I I think though it also might have been like I feel like it was just missing certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just certain things that it was missing. And that if they would have made that a 2 hour movie, I would have literally been intrigued the whole movie.
Well, that works out because this is existing in a continued universe. So that means that the next movie that you and I talk about will continue from here.
And I think that to me, that's dope. One, I think one of the reasons why I don't read the comics as much like that is because I'm one of those people like I don't know what's canon, what's not canon, what flows, what doesn't flow. Is this just a one-off series written by somebody else that just so happened to mention this story and trying to figure that out and all these other kind of different things of how things are happening? I'm like, yeah, this is a lot to try to keep track of. When you give me a good series and it has a chronological order of how things are occurring and when things are occurring and seeing development and growth in certain characters, you have me locked in the whole way through.
Excellent. I mean, that's what the MCU does. So there you go. So, uh, I I'm thinking 7.5. This movie's very solid. I do enjoy it. I don't know if I can quite give it an 8, but I really do like it. I had a good time. So yeah, I'm gonna go 7.5 because it's still very good. We still got some quality here.
Yeah. I definitely think the introduction of Damien is what made this movie what it was.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Anything else on the movie?
To be honest, we really discussed everything that I think I even had thought about. To be honest, I found it was funny when Talia jumped in front of the gun and she got blasted. Like it
Hey,
happened so fast. Like she just jumped and boom. I was like, damn.
that's how. Yep, that's how that works.
I was like, damn.
And that's probably why she was dead,
Yeah, I was like, damn. Okay, that's
because
interesting.
she did in fact get blasted. That's yep.
But other than that, to be honest, now I don't think I have anything else for the movie. The movie was it was all right. It was a good watch. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if it was longer, I think I'd have been more intrigued. It would have been good. Um, yeah,
Okay. All right. Well, excellent. In the next episode, we will be discussing Batman Assault on Arkham. So until then, salutations.